Hello, szevasztok! Szervusztok, srácok! Megérkeztünk a közös Diablo Developer beszélgetéshez, ahol több mint valószínű, sőt nem több mint valószínű, biztosan információt fogunk kapni az első szezonjának, a Diablo 4 első szezonjáról, illetve a Diablo Immortalról is fognak beszélni, de hát ez annyira minket nem érdekel, de biztos vannak köztetek olyanok, akik örülnek annak, hogy új klassz érkezik a játékba így egy év után. Ennél minket sokkal jobban izgat az, hogy mégis mi lesz az első szezonban, és milyen quality of life változtatásokat hoznak. Azért is gondoltam, hogy egy kicsit előbb kezdünk, hogy így elmondjam nektek, hogy én mi az, aminek örülnék, amit így hoznának. Az első 20 perc Immortal? Jó, akkor inkább addig szünet. Szóval, hogy igen, beszélni akartam nektek arról, hogy mi az, ami tök jó lenne, hogyha hoznának, amit így bejelentenének. Hát nem fontossági sorrendben lesz egyébként, szóval ne úgy tekintsetek erre, de mondom, hogy miknek örülnék. Mutassák a stat rerollokat, a lehetőségeket és a skálát, mint a Diablo 3-ban, az okkultistánál, amikor nyomtak egy rerollt, akkor látszódjon, hogy mégis miket adhat a játék, illetve hogy milyen range-en belül, azt szerintem nagyon kéne, nagyon-nagyon kéne. Illetve, hogyha már egyre növekvő az ára rerollnál, akkor dolgozzák a stats, mert nagyon lehetetlen jó statokat egy itemre tenni. Akár egy perfect itemre is, amin a lehető legtöbb stat jó, kivéve egy, 10-20-100 millió is rámehet, hogy így tökéletes legyen számodra. Ellenben ugye a 3-ba ott fix volt az ára a rollnak, így könnyen ki tudtad tenni magadnak a jó statot. Ez az okkultistás reroll szerintem elég fájdalmas. Nagyon sok affix van, ami felesleges szerintem, vagy ezen kéne valamit változtatni, mert jelenleg az, hogy 8 millió affix közül lehet választani egy itemnél, ez nem éppen a legjobb. Például kiszedhetnénk azt, hogy a damage-re hatással lehet az, hogy most milyen távol van, ugye, hogy close vagy tehát, hogy közel van hozzánk egy enemy vagy távol, tehát az a damage modifikátor az kijöhetne, ahogy kijöhetne ez a damage reductionből is, például, és akkor így több esélyünk lenne a jó statot rollolni az itemre. Szóval, hogy például ez is tök jó lenne, hogy így az affixokon változtatnának egy kicsit, úgyhogy kevesebb legyen, vagy hogyha már ennyi van, akkor kicsit kényelmesebb legyen a rollolgatás. Például, hogyha már rolloltál, mit tudom én, egy itemen 3 és 6% között lehet a critical hit chance, és te már rolloltál 4-et, akkor 50 millióért ne rollolj egy 4-est az 5-ös helyett, mert az így nagyon hülyeség. Úgyhogy az is olyan hülyeség. Ha már a gold ilyen sokat ér, akkor a Greed Shrine is lehetne hasznosabb, illetve a goldos affix a Nightmare Dungeon-on az is érhetne többet. Mert így van, de kb. Hogyha eladsz egy full stash sárga itemekkel, több goldot szedsz össze, mint hogy te bemész egy olyan Nightmare Dungeonba, amin goldos affix van, vagy hogy rányomsz egy-két Greed Shrine-re, az nem ad semmit. Szóval hát azon is kéne valamit változtatni. Ugye, hát erre volt példa a Speedes Shrine, amit átdolgoztak a Diablo 3-ba, most is átdolgozhatnánk a Greedes Shrine-t valahogy úgy, hogy hasznosabb legyen. Arról már nem is beszélve, hogy szegény Goblin, az, hogyha így Nightmare Dungeon-öket spameltek, többször találkoztok Butcherrel, mint egy goblinnal. Ja. Ha már itt az itemekről beszéltünk, akkor kéne megoldást találni arra, hogy altokat gíreljünk 50-es szint fölött. Valahogy be kéne szabályozniuk azt, hogy egy-egy word-írű item az így mikortól használható, mert így, hogyha, mit tudom én, 90-es szinten kiütsz egy itemet, ami tök jó lenne az altodnak, egy másik karakternek, akkor az alt nem fogja tudni használni, ameddig 90-es nem lesz, holott amúgy a statok azok ugyanazok, mint hogyha egy 50-es iteme lenne, mert ugye Word Tier 4-en esik ki, szóval nincs különbség Word Tier 4, tehát level 50-es Word Tier 4-es item között, meg level 90-es Word Tier 4-es item között, és ez tök jó lenne, hogyha ezen változtatnák. Például az is nagyon király lenne, hogy egy bizonyos Nightmare Dungeon szint után már nem esnének Sacred itemek, mert tök felesleges. Szóval, hogy ezen is változtathatnának. Mi van még? A mob sűrűség. A mob sűrűségen is változtathatnának, mert az, hogy van, hogy 20 másodpercig nem találkozol a Nightmare Dungeon. Bocsánat, hogy ennyire a Nightmare Dungeon-okra fókuszálok, de az ami így az endgame jelenleg, és hát azon kellene mit változtatni. Mint például, hogy ne legyen az, hogy 20 percig sétálsz a dungeonbe, és nincs ellenség. Például. Ezen is tök jó lenne, hogyha változtatnának. Ne kelljen az Unstoppable státuszállapotra hagyatkozni, mert nem mindenkinek van. Például a Necro nem nagyon tud Unstoppable lenni, ellenben egy barbárral, vagy egy druidával, és így könnyen ki tudják kerülni a hard CC-ket, még egy Necro például, hogyha van 3 elite nemi, aki így fagyaszt, azok így, hát hogy stánlokba tudják tartani a Necrót, és egy képessége van menekülnie. Szóval ez annyira nem jó, úgyhogy kéne a Diminishing Return a CC-kre, hogy ne legyen szívás azoknak, akiknek nincsen Unstoppable, vagy ne kelljen az Unstoppable-re ennyire hagyatkozni, szerintem. Hát ugye a barbánál az van, hogy elnyom 3 gombot, és akkor így kb. Folyamatosan Unstoppable-be tud lenni. Ha jól tudom, de lehet, hogy hülyességet beszélek. 3 percünk van, szerencsére nem sok minden van, amit még így mondanék. De a loadout mentés az is nagyon király lenne. Volt a 3-ban is loadout mentés, itt is nagyon király lenne, hogyha lenne. Főleg mivel ennyi mindent kell kipakolni, skilleket és paragonokat, ide kéne loadout mentés, ami elmenti a gearedet, a skilleket és a paragon pontokat. Ez így kell. A Word Tier 5 az biztos, hogy lesz. Az biztos, hogy lesz. Ajaj, úristen, kezdődik. Ezzel együtt legyen már rezetelhető a Paragon tábla. És tök jó lenne, hogyha lenne még Group Finder is, vagy valami hasonló. Az így nagyon király lenne. Kellemes volt a 3-ban is, ide is kéne. Illetve a klán rendszert kéne egy kicsit tuningolni, hogy olyan szinten legyen, mint a 3-ban, hogy így lehessen látni, hogy ki volt offline, online. Meg jöhetnének ilyen klános eventek is, mint például az Immortalba, de ez már csak ilyen kis apróság. Legyen értelme a wordbossoknak? Hát, jelenleg a wordbossoknak azon kívül, hogy ingyen legendás, azon kívül így nem sok értelme van, ezen a nehézségem. A Diablo 2-be tervezték a Guild Hubot, még anno 2000-ben, azóta se jött egyik Diablo game-be sem. De legalább jól megtervezték, Enkom. Én abban bízom, hogy ez a Season 1 valamennyire teljessé teszi majd a Diablót. Ez nem elégedetlenkedés volt részemről itt az elmúlt 10 percben, hanem csak ilyen quality of life dolgok. Mert én Perpil így is élvezem. Nyilván, hogyha valaki egy karaktert spamelt, mióta megjelent a játék, vagy például a bétában is, akkor annak unalmas lehet 100-200 óra után, de ki lehet ugye próbálni más buildeket is, más karaktereket is. Ja. Van Guild Hub az Immortálban? Üdv mindenkinek közben, srácok. Még 1 perc és kezdünk, ha minden igaz. Szóljatok majd, hogyha halk vagy hangos, és akkor állítunk rajta. Még időbe jöttetek. Szerintem én úgy emlékszem, de ez ilyen pletyka szinten van, hogy jönnek a set itemek.
Hello. That's it. That's how you.
Bele is vágtak.
Hello. I'm gonna do that every single time.
Hello.
Welcome to another Diablo Developer Update live stream. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the community director for the Diablo franchise. We've got some wonderful people here. We just have Rod.
Yeah, well, I'm not part of the wonderful crew, I guess.
Yeah. He decided to insert himself as of yesterday, so.
What is the power? If you have power, you should use it whenever possible, and I've decided to. So
we have Rod here, who is, of course, the general manager of the Diablo
universe. Yeah,
I guess that's the best way.
All
to say
things Diablo.
Can't use the word franchise.
Pierre's not here now.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And of course, we have Chris Leal.
Lead UX designer on Immortal.
And Ryan Quinn.
Hi, I'm senior narrative designer on Immortal.
So we are actually starting off today's show with some Diablo Immortal conversations. Also, I do want to mention we're using new fancy mics today. We've been joking around, and I call them the Britney Spears mic.
Right.
Direkt rakták ide az Immortát, mert ez nem érdekli az embereket, és addig is legalább gyűlik a nép.
It doesn't take a genius to see the size of my head, and the ability to put that little wire around this size of noggin is impossible. So therefore, I've passed.
Disappointing. But he does have a really good impression of Britney Spears.
I am not doing it now.
Oh.
I am not doing it.
Okay, maybe we can get it out of him.
I'll knot my shirt later. It'll be good.
Maybe we can get it out of him during Q&A. Someone asked that question in Twitch chat. We'll make sure to bring that up during Q&A. And there you go. You're just on the spot, and you have to answer it. So.
I think it's important that, like, last time you clarified what we were doing was the campfire, which is more of a casual, we're just kind of giving updates. You know, we just want to be able to talk to the community.
Yes.
This is more of a developer stream, so it's a bit more official.
Yes.
But one of the things we wanted to recognize too is that, like, as a family of games, there's lots of cool stuff happening within in Diablo, and so we don't always want to just be focused on just D4. Anytime there's something big or really interesting happening within Diablo, we want to be able to talk about it. You know, I could imagine we're going to have a Season 29 conversation for Diablo 3 at some point in the future. And so one of the things we're going to look at, do today was not just talk about,
arról is beszélhetnének még a Diablo 4 előtt.
On Diablo 4, and
a Diablo 3 Season 29-ra.
Possible. We'll get there, trust us, but it's going to take a minute. But what we really want to look at as well is we want to talk about we're going to talk a little bit about what's the preseason before we go into Season 1. We're going to talk about what's going on with D4 today, because we actually have some news about today. Another tease, didn't mean that. And and then we want to talk a little bit about Diablo Immortal, because something pretty incredible is happening in Diablo Immortal, which is in nearly a decade we're having the first new Diablo character class is being revealed, and we wanted to reveal it here on this stream. So, one of the great things about Blizzard is the SFD team, Story and Franchise, and Blizzard Video, and everything that they do around cinematics. And we thought, how could we introduce a new character class without having a kick-ass video to go with it? So, without further ado, May we present to you the new
chat és a
Diablo
lelkesedés
coming to Diablo Immortal
állapota
very,
a
very soon.
rezidens sleep-el.
The darkness has always been with us. And humanity is right.
Miért akadozik a cinematic? Miért 10 FPS-es ez a trailer?
The darkness wants to consume you and all you love. But my kind claim its power and wield it in defiance. Humanity is right to fear the darkness, but I am a blood knight.
Wow!
Darkness fears me.
Blood Knight. Na, erre amúgy kíváncsi vagyok. Ja, amúgy július 13 új klassz. Na, jövő héttől lehet nyomni.
There we have it. The new class coming to Diablo and Diablo Immortal. It's the Blood Knight.
Erre kíváncsi lennék amúgy, hogy milyen a gameplay vele.
Exactly.
Sounds like there might have been some encoding issues.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that some people are talking about there's a little bit of hitching on it and so forth. I will say that we actually do have that trailer that will be on a blog on DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream, so people can actually check it out. It'll be on YouTube along with all the details that we're about to talk about. We just like to get ahead of ourselves. That's all. But obviously, first new class to the Diablo universe in nearly 10 years. I think there's a lot of questions in regards to like the story and so forth behind the Blood Knight. Ryan, give us a little bit of background regarding the Blood Knight itself.
Yeah, sure. So I think historically, when we released DI, we released it with these sort of 6 very, very familiar, very stalwart classes that all of us love, that many of us have been playing for decades. And it's great to kind of indulge in that nostalgia. It's great to get that dopamine hit of playing a classic. But after 6 classes, it left us with the opportunity to do something that felt really new and different. To do a supernatural class that's kind of monstrous, that does things like Necromancer, and that our other dark classes like the Necromancer and the Demon Hunter don't do. And so we're really, really stoked about the opportunity to release the Blood Knight on everybody.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I know, like, obviously everyone's kind of seeing the Blood Knight and they're thinking, like, is this, like, vampiric in some sort of way? Or, like, how does this fit in with the actual lore within Diablo?
Right, so the fine details
Amúgy valószínűleg egy éve, tehát hogy így ugyanez lesz a Diablo 4-ben is, hogy évente jön egy új klassz. Azt tudom elképzelni.
Plagues, they go from hunting ground to hunting ground, they kill people, they bite people, and sometimes people who they've bitten, they suffer this monstrous transformation. They start to devolve into what we call thralls, kind of like lesser vampiric beings, long teeth, hunger for blood, all that stuff. And a Blood Knight is a person who, through means of an ancient ritual, has that
a V-Rising jutott amúgy eszembe így hirtelen a Blood
essentially in place. They get
Blood
some
Knight-ról.
advantages, but they get some drawbacks too.
What do you mean the curse of turning into a thrall is a drawback in a way?
Well, their thraldom is essentially on pause. So basically what happens is a Blood Knight, also preternaturally strong and fast, can see in the dark, can smell blood from a mile away, doesn't age anymore, as you've seen.
Ja, eddig csak immortálról volt szó.
But on the flip side, you know, they have these blood red eyes, they have black veins in their face, makes people uncomfortable. and maybe
why.
yeah, right. And sort of more pivotally than that, deep inside their soul, there is an abomination, a monstrous darkness that hungers for violence. And in order to tamp that down,
Szomjazza a violenciát.
further, they have to perform a ritual. That keepsake that you saw in our cinematic character's right hand, the little thing on the chain.
Oh, the chain, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically their lifeline.
So a link to their past?
Yeah. It's got a memento within of the last place that they were kind of truly human.
Right.
And so every morning, noon, and night, they're doing ablutions with this thing to hopefully continue to keep the darkness at bay. But, it's a process.
Right.
The ritual, it's hearsay. It's been passed down for hundreds of years. And for basically every Blood Knight, it may fail at some point. All Blood Knights are doomed to one day succumb to their curse.
And they don't know if that's 1 day, 1 year, 1,000 years.
Could be centuries, right? They're very, very long-lived. What they do know,
Ez is a Blood Knight kinézete.
is that they're going to use all of the time they have
Amúgy ez
left
menő.
to push back the darkness.
Van maxos karakterem Immortálban.
Ultimately, for them, since that is such an uncertain question, it's really about their inner sense of balance. Can I do enough good
Nem
to
játszanám
make
a
up
4
for
helyet.
the evil that will rise when I'm gone?
I just wanted to give a shout out because we had the art up there earlier, and that art is gorgeous looking. At the same time, they're very pretty. I've been joking about it. I'm like, oh, look, they're so pretty.
Well, if you were going to turn into a monster, you'd want to stop
Well,
right
it's
here,
funny
right?
because they're very gorgeous here, and then they turn into the abomination, which is really funny to see. So it's like a complete opposite of what it is.
I mean, you mentioned the abomination. I think we saw the Blood Knight turn into this creature during that. So what actually is going on here? Like this is I guess Chris will talk eventually about how an abomination comes to be, but this is basically them tapping into what's inside them to change form.
Yeah, they're letting the curse off the leash just a little bit. It's going to grant them extreme power in the short term.
Át tud alakulni.
Yeah, but maybe there's a little anime teardrop there of do I come back from this?
Right. Okay, got it.
Awesome. Well, I know with the Blood Knight, obviously, it's new class. How does it fit, Chris, into the a gameplay style? What if you're playing a Blood Knight? What can you expect the style to be?
Azt kéne elmagyarázni, hogy kerül a lore-ba, az jobban érdekelne, hogy kerül a lore-ba a Blood Knight.
Class, meaning there's tons of up-close combat with polearms. However, they have a host of shadow and blood abilities they can use to manipulate the battlefield in their favor. I think the drawback of Blood Knights might be that players that start playing it might feel that their mobility is limited. However, they have tons of legendary essences to help them improve the ability to close the gap on enemies, as well as life-stealing abilities to help them sustain themselves in lengthy combat.
Miről maradtál? Jön egy Blood Knight klassz a Diablo Immortalban, ami átad a végre gameplay.
Themselves to actually essentially drain, as we can see, kind of like life from others, essentially replenish their life while they're in combat.
The kebab attack, as I like to call it.
The skewer.
The skewer attack is my favorite thing right now. I was like, so what's happening there? We saw it in the trailer. We see it here as well, is where they're basically able to stab an enemy, smash it around as if on the end of a hammer. So that's. Chris is like, yeah, that's basically it.
Ez menő néz ki, amikor így magához húzza és a földre csapja. Ez amúgy menő.
Thing that you skewered, it actually it has an area effect.
Yeah, so the Blood Knight stabs their polearm forward into the closest enemy, then swings overhead the enemy and slams it into the ground, stunning everyone in a small AoE. And there are also legendary essences that let you lunge forward or actually leap to perform the slam.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Aha, ez ilyen rugó necro, igen.
Of course, with every class in Immortal, they all have different ultimates depending on their primary attack skills.
Hát milyen nevéreket hozott ki.
Two different ultimates can we expect with the Blood Knight?
Konkrétan lehozza az eget a földre, a felhőkkel.
First is Ravage. They're basically swinging their polearm around in a 3-hit combo, and right here is the ultimate where they become a 5-hit combo with a stun at the end. And
dual wielding polearms, that's I like.
And the other primary attack they have is called Shadow's Edge. It's quite a unique one. It's the first in Immortal where the in melee range, the Blood Knight will do a slash, and for enemies that are further away, they'll actually throw the dagger forward. And there are legendary essences that add damage over time or make the
Nagyon menő néz ki. Tényleg
so
ilyen
you can essentially it's
DMC-s
good room
feeling,
clear
yeah.
type of abilities is what I'm hearing. So if you got a ton of mobs in front of you, especially if the daggers are ricocheting and
Hogy ilyen
and
lassan és
you mentioned
kimérten
piercing and
mozog.
so forth with the ultimate and everything, you can essentially clear out whole rooms with that. So it's awesome to hear. I know, as you mentioned beforehand, tons of legendary essences and everything that are associated to kind of modify skills. I know, and we're even seeing here, this is like the abomination that we were talking about
So
beforehand.
why would I want to become the abomination? What do I get from that?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the abomination a bit. The way it works is it is a transformative skill that requires the defeating enemies to fill the bar, much like your ultimate.
Right.
However, it happens much more often, and it then transforms your
Menő,
entire
amúgy menő
skill
néz ki ez
bar
a,
into a new
ez az
primary
ult is, hogy
attack,
átalakul a
followed by
végén.
two specific skills, a blood rush where the Blood Knight actually dashes forward in a
A
ball of
Diablo
blood.
1-ben voltak a
And
Blood
there's a
Knight-ok.
3-hit combo attack where if on the last hit they fly into the air and slam the ground, stunning everyone. A lot of stuns.
Nice.
Nice, that's awesome to see. I think with this update that's coming out on the 13th and the Blood Knight itself, and there are like even other components and that are kind of going to be coming with this actual update. Do you guys have any
Srácok,
like
már csak 5
additional
perc,
information
és
on-
Diablo
Ways to
4-es
play it, right?
bejelentések
the thing
lesznek.
that's really interesting. Like this is, I think having a new character class introduced on basically the anniversary of Diablo Immortal is really exciting. Like it's a great way to celebrate 1 year that Immortal has been at. It's hard to believe it's already been a year. It's crazy. But so having a new character, but I've been like a whirlwind barbarian for a year now, and loving that. And so now I'm going to obviously, well, one of the great things about Immortal is that you can class change. So I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian. I know that's not high. Thank you very much. I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian and turn it into a Blood Knight. Yes. Because there's basically 3 ways. We have the player who's been playing for a year like myself. We have the new player, and we have the test driver,
Ja,
right?
amúgy ez
What do you
a
think about that? So
class change az menő az Immortalban.
So, if you're brand new to Immortal and have never played before, you can play the Blood Knight right out of the gate, create a new character completely free, and start with the main story complete with custom Blood Knight VO lines for all of the main quests. And for players like Rod, who have been playing for a while and want to convert to this class, I'm happy to say that we've made some major improvements to class change. Strength and intelligence will now convert properly.
I know, it's a huge request that a lot of people are asking for, yes.
Yes, it's going to be great. And also, players will be able to, during the event, change to the Blood Knight on a one-day cooldown and also revert back infinitely. So if you decide you don't like playing the Blood Knight, you can revert the day of. Or if you want to try it again tomorrow, you can go ahead and change back to the Blood Knight.
Nice, awesome.
And lastly, I want to talk about the Crimson Plane event. So for Immortal players that are familiar with Fractured Plane, there will be a special Crimson Plane event where there'll be.
So I think a lot maybe don't know what Fractured Plane. So maybe just what's the 5-second version of what is Fractured Plane?
So Fractured Plane is basically a roguelite inside of Immortal where you're able to try out all of the skills and abilities and build towards 15 levels of defeating enemies just to try out different skills.
You basically start with a fresh class, and so you're taking your character. Like I have a very specific build with very specific gear. But if I wanted to go play Fractured Planes, it says, "Oh, you're a barbarian. Here's some random skills. See how far you can get with this," and you build up your gear and stuff as you're playing through this roguelike experience.
Igen, ez a roguelite-os mód is amúgy tök menő az Immortalban.
Introduction, you've created Crimson Planes, which is a version of
Hogy
the
ki
same
tudod
experience
próbálni a
to go and test
karaktert.
drive all the different Blood Knight skills.
Mármint, hogy
Exactly.
le
So
tudod
you'll be able to
tesztelni
try out
magad.
different skills and legendary essences without actually committing to changing to the class. So just try it out, see if you like it, and if you do, there's always class change available.
Nice.
Nice, that's awesome to hear. So we have, and we have other things like I mentioned that are coming in this actual update. I know that for any new player that's coming in, of course, they can create a Blood Knight, how we mentioned beforehand, customize it, and it's completely free. And then, of course, any existing character can do class changes if they want, or they can create a new character if they would like to do it that way as well. but I know we have like a new legendary gem that's going to be coming in this actual update as well. And then we even have just other like items associated with this specific patch that'll be hitting as
full set
well.
of legendaries for the Blood Knight too.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be listing out every single legendary
in the blog, yeah.
that is available for the Blood Knight on our blog immediately after the stream. So you guys can check out the cinematic trailer that we showed off for the Blood Knight earlier on that blog, and of course read all the details about what's coming in this update that is hitting on the 13th of July. So soon, it's crazy. We do. We're super stoked. The cinematic is amazing, by the way. I just want to like.
Why are you, for people who didn't get to see it in full frame rate, you're basically rubbing their noses right now.
Essentially, like.
Go watch it again, please.
Szóval azt mondták, hogy jövő héten jön az Immortal content, amiről most beszéltek. Az új karakter.
Nothing like seeing blood splattered all over some stained glass. It's Diablo, so it makes perfect sense. It's great. But we are super stoked. So yeah, July 13th is when it's going to be coming out. And then, of course, again, check DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream. We'll have a blog up there for people to check out all the details.
Congratulations, guys, on the year. It's been a
nagyon ügyesek voltatok ti ketten ott középen. Nagyon jó volt, nagyon jó volt.
Haven't gone back to take a look at it. Like basically every quarter we do major updates and really change the game. So the ability to craft set items, the ability to take your duplicate legendaries and turn that into a currency so that you can make your current legend, stronger, and the way that you do dungeons now, like and the tower, the clan play, like there's just so much else going on. So it's a free-to-play game. If you want to go check it out, just to see all the changes. Like I said, there's been in a year, it's complete. To me, it's a completely different game.
Múlva lesz? Nem hiszem. Azt szerintem
ways that you
3
can
hét.
approach the content, which is exciting. But hearing the fact that you fully recorded all VO for the Blood Knight for the campaign, I'm excited to go back and start over.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 lines in total. We've got a pair of really, really awesome voice actors, Abby Trott and Ben Prendergast. Absolutely killed it as the Blood Knight.
Micsoda voice actorok vannak.
And bloodlust and action all the way through. They've got some interesting takes on. I was going to say the name of the villain, our Act 3 villain in Darkwood. Some interesting perspectives there. But yeah, I don't think there's ever really been a better time to reroll, to start a new run through the main story.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much, and congratulations.
Thanks so much, Rod. We're stoked.
And we're going to be now switching over to D4 content. We're actually going to take like a really short break because we got to swap people in. This room is only so big. And we also need mics off of people.
Cserélik az embereket.
We're going to be swapping in into our Diablo 4 segment. So we'll see you here in a minute or so.
Kell egy kis szünet. Cserélik az embereket. Addig kapunk egy videót. Legalább kaptunk egy epikus trailert. Ez a videó legalább jó. Ez nem spoileres, a cinematic. Ez a bejelentő, ugye? Azt kérdezik a Diablo chaten, hogy ez már a Diablo 5? Epic.
And
No.
we're back.
No.
What happened to the awkward hello? You're supposed to go, hello.
That's going to be my intro
I'm
for
technically
everything.
not back.
Wait.
Well, you are technically back. I mean, you were in other streams and other times.
Correct.
I'm not back. I'm new.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Tim is new. Tim also has the best voice in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
So Tim is just going to talk for the rest of the stream.
I didn't prepare for that at all.
Team Izmé, tehát
Maybe you
Team
should actually
Május.
introduce people,
Yes,
or-
I will introduce people. We are now joined by our wonderful Diablo 4 developers. We have Tim Izmé. May I introduce you?
Hello, Tim Ismay. I'm one of the lead producers on Diablo 4, specifically focused on seasons. I say that because if you ask me questions,
Na, ő
outside
dolgozik a
of
seasonokon.
I have no idea what's going on.
And you said plural.
You said
Wait,
plural.
there's more than one
I
season.
was
Tim?
trying to
More
build more
than
than
one
one
season.
Yeah.
There is more than one season. That's going to be, we're revealing that.
Or that's job security right there.
I'm actually just asking for it. Yeah.
Wait, we're supposed to be thinking about job security? Damn it.
And we have
Oh,
a
yeah.
familiar face.
Joey P.
Yes, I'm Joe Pipora. I'm the Associate Game Director for the live service, and I'm excited to talk about Season 1 today, at last.
But first,
But first.
Oh, but first,
Na,
because Adam has built
can't-
everything possible
we
to talk
can't
about,
start-
except the season.
we can never start talking
még nem
about
beszélhetnek a seasonra.
until we talk about something else first. But there are
Még előtte másról
Correct,
beszélnek,
correct.
mint a seasonra, ugye?
Obviously, it's been a little over a month since Diablo 4's launched.
It's only been a month.
Is it? Well, if you include
No, but you're right.
access.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, I always, the amount of feedback we get about, like, hey, this thing, and you're like, it's been like 5 weeks. Like,
Exactly.
give us a second.
Exactly.
So-
It has been a month, a little bit more than a month, since Diablo 4 has
Wait,
actually
how did you
launched.
guys get a season done in 4 weeks? That's incredible.
We started it well before the game launched.
that's
Tehát nem 4 hét alatt csinálták meg az új szezont. Megtudtuk ezt az információt
I
is.
don't want to get in the weeds, everybody, but like we did start before the game launched to make sure that we could actually release
I thought you were just going to say
something.
zombies are really easy to make, and so therefore it was.
Yeah,
Oh my
obviously, that's
God.
what it is. Okay.
Also, people are saying that your mic is low, Mr. Joey P.
My
no.
mic
Yeah,
is low.
so I don't
Okay,
know if
I'll bring it in a little
we'll
bit.
fix that. I promise. Live broadcast, everyone.
I
Live
can
broadcast.
project everybody.
Yeah,
That's
he
what's
can-
going to take.
He can start screaming.
Just scream at everybody.
And you haven't seen
So I
Joey P
interrupted.
scream.
So you,
Sorry.
you're talking
Sorry,
about the
sorry.
5 week. I was just shocked by the 5 week thing, but anyway. So
Correct.
yes, it's been 5
so
weeks.
obviously it's been 5 weeks since we launched. We've had numerous updates to the game, hot fixes, patches. We actually had a campfire chat in between, where we talked about even a big update that was coming before season 1.
13-page.
Yes,
patch
13
notes?
page. Which people are like, well, that must have been like 14.5, double spaced. And I'm like, maybe it was. But it still was very
Az
big. It was like a
Immortal
lot of changes. It
azért
went
volt
on
20
the
perc,
actual
hogy
site.
akik a
But,
Diablo 4-et várják, a
we,
bejelentéseket,
we've addressed a lot of
azoknak
feedback
fájjon
and
egy kicsit,
everything, related to
és
the game.
megnézzék,
We
hogy
still have
jön
more
új
feedback
karakter,
that
azt
was actually
csumi,
interesting.
mert
And
amúgy
I will say that,
az embereket
later
nem
this
ez
afternoon
érdekli.
there is gonna be another
Tehát, hogy ennek a célja nem az volt, hogy most így az Immortalról beszéljenek.
Announcement. We will have patch 104. That's going to be hitting all platforms later this afternoon. There will be patch notes posted this afternoon. Very much not as chonky as 103, but it does address additional feedback and issues that people have been reporting over to us
you
in the
got
actual
one?
patch notes.
Come on, put you on the spot.
Funny enough, I actually have this printed out?
I don't think
kis-
you can say that 1.04 is coming this afternoon.
Egy kis
I'm not
buff,
giving you
mint
an example
legutóbb.
of something
Jöhet ma is.
1.04.
I know that they are actually doing a gameplay fix in regards to, or a gameplay adjustment to Helltide Chess, so that Helltide Chess will now actually drop unique items.
Yeah, have the chance to drop unique items, but
Yes,
yes.
sorry. Have a chance, not like a guarantee.
So relax,
Now,
everybody.
now that's quoted, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
but,
So that's okay. That sounds stupid for me as the GM to go like, I thought they already could drop uniques with Helltide Chess, so I was mistaken there.
Yeah.
Tehát most már Helltide is dobhat unique-ot.
The rewards are not
Ezt nem tudták.
not dropping like unique items. For
Mármint, hogy nem
instance, like
tudta
Whisper
a
bounty
csávó.
caches, for example, don't have a chance to drop unique items when you turn in for those.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, but I think that there's opportunities for us to continue to like try to expose this more as we talk about these things moving forward. But yeah, this is an opportunity now. We want to make sure that when players are trying to target farm for certain kinds of uniques for their builds, they need to grab in order to bring those things online, that those whisper caches really can be used as a way to or not whisper caches, the tortured gifts you can get from the Helltides events. Those are really good opportunities to go and try to go for those.
And that's this afternoon. So once 104 goes out, once your uniques can drop in.
That's right. That's right. That's this afternoon.
Yeah, and I will say, like, we've mentioned, I think, many times already in this stream, we have been getting a lot of feedback related to bugs, issues, or even just like general gameplay feedback. And it's something that the team has been reading through and getting through. And those are things that, obviously we're addressing as we get through all these different updates in the future and everything.
We're building a big backlog. Like, this is the thing, I was making the joke about they started before, like seasons started before we launched, just to try to set expectations. Like, we're moving as fast as we can, but we have to move also safely, because if we move too fast, we can kind of vibrate the game out of stability. And so we're trying to be as reactive as we can, but in a safe way, and knowing we have a large backlog of Season 1 was already well in flight, and Season 2 is also very much well in flight. And so we're trying to make those adjustments. So we hear the feedback, so please don't take the lack of instantaneous responses.
Hallják a problémáinkat, csak próbálnak úgy reagálni, hogy jó legyen nekik is. És próbálnak gyorsan reagálni, amire tudnak a hotfixekkel.
So just trying to manage expectations that sometimes it might feel, but again, it's only been 5 weeks. This is a game that we are going to support for years to come. This is a foundation of, we said the launch was the beginning, not the end. And so we're going to be continuing to support this game through many seasons and through expansions and what have you. And so please
elmondta, hogy hosszú távra terveznek.
Catch up and work through our backlog to get to those items that we know that you care about.
Diablo 4.
And I do want to note that we're, as we were in preseason, we were obviously shooting out a lot of updates really quickly, and this is something we talked about a little bit on the campfire chat,
amúgy az tényleg jó, hogy ilyen gyorsan jöttek a hotfixek.
Update the game, so it's not just going to be like ad hoc, hey, guess what, a new client patch type of thing, unless there's an emergency. But yeah, people start to find some familiarity with how we actually update the game around seasons and client patches that may occur, whether they are in between or only on seasons and so forth. So we'll have that actually communicated out, and people then know what to expect going forward when we do have different updates or different patches that actually do the game.
I think it's really important that we have now talked about things we did in the preseason. We've made a number of changes on the balance side. We've responded to a lot of player feedback. We've got 1.04 coming out later on this afternoon. But Adam, what do the people want to hear about?
Zombies! So we're actually now going to talk about. No, but we do want to talk about Season 1. Season 1 is coming, and we actually have a really cool trailer to show off before.
Na, egy Season 1-es trailer.
Hit it, Rich and Matt.
Erről tettek ki, hogy jön a korrupció. Seasons of the Malignant. Hoppácska. Ott is van. 20-a. 2 hét.
And there we have it. The first season of Diablo 4 coming out on July 20th. The season of the Malignant. Lots to talk about there. So we're actually going to jump into it. No, I'm just kidding. But obviously, a lot of people want to know what's going on. We even teased it on social media yesterday, where something was corrupting Sanctuary.
Ja, ezt kitették ugye Twitterre.
Yeah, no, okay, so
what's going on?
Ezt a korrupciós
season
dolgot.
1, the season of the Malignant. So our very, very first season in the game is going to basically take place after the events of Diablo 4. So after the redacted and the redacted have happened and the player has finished redacting the redacted, once all that's out of the way, that's when things are really going to kick off in the world of Sanctuary, kind of step off from that point. And there is a new threat that's basically emerged in Sanctuary.
Új fenyegetés üti fel a fejét a szentélyben.
Throughout like the hearts of the creatures throughout the world, and that's everything from like beasts to humans to demons themselves, everything in between. Can be corrupted by this malignance as beginning to take root and fester inside inside people. And it's basically kind of like it's changing them, right? It's turning them into these bloodthirsty fiends. Effectively, they're going out and trying to destroy everything. And it's threatening Sanctuary at a very, very, very high level. The player's going to come across a new character that they're going to introduce to over the course of the season named Cormund, who we actually saw in the trailer there. Cormund is... there he is. Cormund is
fő karakter, fő személy ennek a seasonnek.
And he's taken it upon himself to start trying to dive deeper into this new malignant threat that's risen over the course of these days following the events of Diablo 4's main campaign. But he's finding himself maybe a little out of his depth. You say, Tim? Like, what do you think about Cormund?
Yeah, he's trying to fix the problem on his own, and then I think when he's not 100% successful, he comes to the player and says, "Hey, you were really helpful in the past. Could I get a hand from you?" So that's kind of where things start.
Yeah, he's very. I think that you'll find like he's a person. Everything in the room is on fire, but he's sitting there like, "I can fix it. We can find a way to solve this, right?" But he's a great new character that the player get introduced over the course of the season. But that's really just where things kick off. And players will start the season of Malignant actually in Kyovashad. And they're going to gain access to the beginning of the story of the season pretty much right away. So you're able to start off right at level 1, like jumping out of the gate and be able to start like following the thread of this new season storyline.
And we're going to talk about the transition from the current Eternal Realm into the season afterwards. We're going to get through the season information first.
Yeah.
Well, then I know people are really curious about what happens to my current character, how do I think about that transition, but we'll get to that after we get through this.
Beszélnek majd arról, hogy mi lesz mi az, ami átmegy a szezonba majd.
What's happening in the world of Sanctuary?
Right? We have a seasonal theme with a seasonal story, but like, what about the mechanic? On top of the theme, there's usually the seasonal mechanics. So what's the mechanics that we're looking at?
We're trying to add more stuff to seasons that appeal to everything that a player does in Diablo 4. So we are adding story, the elements of what you're going to find out about what is actually happening to Sanctuary, but then we want things that are new challenges for the player, things that you can fight that maybe you haven't fought before, as well as new powers, things that you can build your character in a different way, a different direction than maybe you did in any previous season, or in this case in the preseason when you had just the Eternal Realm. So hitting all of those notes, we're starting with a mechanic around the threat. So what is the threat? The Malignant. We've been talking about it a lot. Where does the Malignant actually show up? That actually shows up throughout the entire game. Yep. When you're playing in the world of Sanctuary, anytime you encounter any elite monster, there's a chance that it will spawn as a malignant version of that monster. So that malignant version is going to have these growths on it and some additional power. After you kill it, a heart will actually appear, the exposed malignant heart that was causing
megjelenik egy ilyen malignant
heart by using a cage of binding.
Ha megölsz ilyen malignant enemit.
Pulling all the malignants in, and a new, even more powerful version of that elite is spawned.
Wow.
Why would you want this? How does this help you? Well,
ez amúgy
if you
érdekes.
manage to beat that even more powerful version, where you see these other minions are now helping it,
tetszik ez a mechanika.
Now it drops the caged heart. You've actually put all of that malignant power into this cage that is an item that you can use that is kind of like a gem. It's like a gem in the sense that you can socket it into gear. It is very much not like a gem in the sense that it has an enormous amount of power.
Gemként lehet belerakni.
A legendary item, the kind of power that's in there. It's like that, maybe even a little bit more than that. So you can take these malignant hearts, you can socket them into your jewelry, and that gives you these kind of stupid new broken builds that are hopefully balanced, hopefully, but they are extremely powerful. These are new options of how you can play the game.
Yeah, so this is really, really cool, right? So one of the things we really want to do with each season, to Tim's point, is we want to make sure that we're providing new ways for players to engage with Diablo 4, new problems for them to solve, new ways for them to customize their characters and kind of do new cool stuff.
Right.
And that's what Malignant Hearts and the powers associated with Malignant Hearts really allow us to do. So one of these things, so yes, you can take a Malignant Heart that you've managed to collect from one of the consumed that you managed to kill, one of these super malignant creatures that you've killed this way, and you can socket them into your gear. We have over 32
ja, olyan legendary game-nek tűnik, igen, igen.
32 new malignant powers.
You know exactly how many powers.
Technically,
Igen.
it's 32. So we have 32 new
Igen,
malignant
ez olyan,
powers
mint
going
a
out this way.
legendary
These
game-ek a
are
3-ban.
new legendary power-like abilities. You can see this one here, critical strikes,
Ja, ja.
electrically charged creatures for a set amount of damage. So these there's a lot of really powerful things like this that you'd be able to kind of like interact with over
De
the course of
azok
time.
olyan másik szoketek is. Tehát, hogy ezek nem sima game szoketek, hanem ilyen speckó szoket, ilyen színes szoket. Ja, most pont arról beszél.
Infested sockets you'll find on rings and jewelry during the season of the Malignant of a matching color.
I see.
So when you're hunting for when you're finding new amulets and rings or gambling at the Opal's vendor, whatever it is you want to do, you're kind of looking for specific socket colors.
Or if you're getting a unique ring from the new Helltide chest rewards as you're playing from the one.
That's right. If you happen to luck out and get Mother's Embrace because you need another Mother's Embrace, then yes, you can absolutely.
One will never do. But what's interesting, so there's 3 different types of color sockets, yes?
There's 3 different types of colored sockets.
Háromfajta szín lesz, és háromfajta.
So the last Malignant Heart type is called basically a raffle. It's an extremely powerful Malignant Heart type. They're very, very rare to find. They will fit in any colored socket as you go.
Van olyan
and you kind of want a
hárt, ami
combination of all
mindegyik
of these.
szoketbe
So
jó.
even though that the raffles are pretty strong, you're really only looking to probably have 1 or 2 of these based on what you might actually need for your build, over the course of time. So it's fun, really want to be able to experiment with, again, creating these different problems for players to solve, different ways for players to engage with things, and really change up that experience by virtue of adding these new powers. They're going to unlock
Az ott a karakter neve, hogy Erika. Látjátok, magyarok dolgoznak.
Really fun, exciting new way for players to kind of
A Blizzardnál.
inject new power into the experience.
But you're looking for so can the jeweler, when the jeweler right now can add a socket to, a piece of jewelry,
Yeah.
Are they able to add colored sockets, or are those only
So you can't
found?
choose the color, but anytime a ring would roll with a socket when the season of Malignant starts, it's always going to have a color associated with it. There's not you couldn't get just a regular jewel socket.
But even a jeweler created one? Like if I have a ring with no socket, when I do the jeweler, it'll be colored?
It'll always be colored. Yeah,
so
it'll always be an
another
infested socket in this way.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that's true for unique. So if I'm looking for I have a unique ring, like you talked about, but I want the blue version. I could find a unique with the red socket, and I could find it with a yellow socket. So I'm looking for a blue. So there'll
might be
multiple versions of the uniques as well, right?
Na,
That's correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun new stuff to look forward
most
to.
már még nehezebb lesz megtalálnod az itemeket, amikbe lehet gemet rakni, mert még a megfelelő színű itemnek is kell kiesnie, hogy azt a specifikus színű szoketet tud rátenni, hogyha esetleg nincs rajta.
Then you fight that super consume the consume version. It's that's gonna be buffing nearby monsters. It spawns a bigger combat in that scene. There's more to look forward to, and those get tougher and tougher. And you want to fight higher and higher level versions of those in higher world tiers to get even better versions of those hearts.
Yeah, so you can get stronger versions of the hearts as you get further into the game, and you might be thinking okay, does that mean the old, the crappy hearts that I got earlier, are those useless? You can actually break those down at the crafter as well to get a crafting material out of them that allows you to craft new items, including invokers. So invokers are something that you can use a little bit further on once you finish the campaign of Season 1. You will unlock the ability to go and use these at a specific place called a malignant tunnel. So if you are
By the way,
trying to...
that's also the name of my colonoscopy.
Okay.
There we go. And
it's a serious thing when you're over 50.
This is,
you should know that.
That's actually
this is
good
when
That is a good point. So if you have a
malignant
malignant tunnel, you should get yourself checked out.
So in the world of Sanctuary, when we say malignant tunnel, we mean, hey, I'm a player and I actually want to get more of these hearts, but it's just a random chance on elites out in the world. Where can I intentionally find more of them? There are these malignant tunnels. So there are actually
Vannak ilyen malignant tunnelok, és akkor ott lehet farmolni ilyen gemeket.
You can hunt down these tunnels.
Yep.
You can go in and, hey, there are more malignant there. So there's a higher chance of finding malignant monsters there. And if you want to guarantee it, man, I really need a very specific type of malignant heart. How do I make that even more likely? That's when you take your crafted invoker, you go all the way to the end of a malignant tunnel, and you can use it on a malignant outbreak. And you use it on that
Tehát akkor
outbreak,
lesznek
and now spawn
riftek.
specific type of
Most itt nem
malignant.
tudom,
It's gonna
mit
have the color
mutatnak, ez most
associated with
micsoda.
the heart you're trying to find. You kill that and you're going to get the specific heart.
Láttátok, hogy a dungeonnek ilyen leveles ikonja volt, mint hogy a season lenne a Diablo 3-ban?
Like, if go to the C video, it will be able to show you the going into an evoker event where you can go in and sort of, which I've heard called the turkey baster from hell, basically, is what an invoker looks like.
It does kind of, yes. I don't, that wasn't
Oh.
the like art direction on it, but yeah, that's where we ended up.
So yeah, at the end of these malignant tunnels, you're going to find that there are these
Értem.
these masses of malignants that you're going to be able to go and interact with, and each of the
Szóval
tunnels
ezek
has a few different ones that can potentially spawn different colors of malignant outgrowths that can spawn from those. So it gives you those opportunities to go and like really target farm, as Tim's pointed out, like certain kinds of malignant hearts as the player is progressing through the experience. Yeah.
So when we show, like we were just showing it.
Tehát ez gyakorlatilag ez a tunnel, ez olyan lesz, mint a cellár jelenleg.
So basically, there's a growth. You get to the end of the tunnel. You're able to basically, essentially, you're requesting a monster of a particular color. Yes, you're saying like, I want a blue heart. A chance to get a blue heart by trying to defeat the blue monster. Yes.
That's right. And some of these are like particularly later.
Tehát amilyen színű a szörny, olyan hártot fog dobni.
Delivered from things like these invoker encounters that we go and interact with. So yeah, something we're very excited about.
So basically, the use an invoker.
Tudsz választani, hogy milyen színt akarsz.
One of the pods.
That's right. Yeah, the outgrowths.
Oké. Tehát ki tudod választani, hogy miért akarsz ezekbe a tunnelokban.
You have to take that down, which will then. So does this one go through the same mechanic where I have to kill it, try to capture heart to kill the harder thing?
When this thing pops up after you kill this one, you don't actually have to capture it. You're fighting the powerful version of it like immediately.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, so you don't have to do the 1-2.
That's right.
Got it. So that's nice. So it's kind of a little like
Nem, ez nem BlizzCon-os esemény.
A bunch of stuff I'm not using right now. I can craft it down so that I can focus what malignant hearts I want. Because maybe my build, I know I want a brutal heart, but I haven't running into any blue malignants out there in the world. So now I can go into a malignant tunnel, fight my way to the end, have an opportunity to use the invoker to create a blue malignant to go after its heart. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Ryder's called it out.
And I know.
That's all I'm here to do is summarize.
That's good.
He's like, I will take everything you said, summarize it into 2 sentences. And I know, like, obviously with the story and so forth, there are like new, like a new boss and so forth associated with it.
We're not really talking about
the boss. Redacted, but yes.
It's worth calling out,
There's new boss monster for players to fight over the course of the season. There are new legendary items for players to collect.
Na, lesznek új legendás itemek. Aspektek is.
Now those new unique legendaries and the unique uniques. Thanks for that.
Tetszik, hogy legendary powerként hivatkoznak rá, és nem aspektként.
That's right. Those will also show up in the Eternal Realm. So
exactly.
Yeah, if you're a player who's like really trying to continue to progress your character in the Eternal Realm, there's now a few new items for you to go try to hunt for and use to kind of augment and change your build.
This is the moment where I can do the producer thing.
Okay, yeah.
So you probably saw before on the screen when we looked at the cinematic, it was awesome. And we said July 20th. Oh my God, there it is, the day it's coming out. We are actually putting out the patch a little bit earlier. So just for awareness, so everyone knows, you're going to see your game patching on July 18th. That is all of the stuff coming to you that is going to turn on July 20th.
Sokkal hamarabb lesz a patch, mint június 20-án, hanem mondjuk június 18-án már megkapjuk a patchet, csak ugye még nem fog elindulni.
If you just want to continue playing the game as normal on your existing characters or a new Eternal character if you want, July 18th, the new legendaries and uniques that they were just talking about will be available to you on the Eternal Realm, as well as any other improvements.
Tehát minden elérhetővé válik mondjuk július 18-án, és lehet játszani azon a karakteren is, ami ugye nem szezonális lesz, hogyha jól értem.
It is not a continuation of the main campaign storyline. Like we've been trying to use phrases like it's a new quest line. Working with Corman to solve the malignant is a big, is obviously the journey you're on, but it's not about the Anarias Lilith journey. It's not extending that story. It's sort of a side story inside the open world.
Yeah, it just takes place after the events of Diablo 4. But you're absolutely right. You know, this is a new self-contained story within the season of Malignant, which is great because it just gives us a lot of it affords us a lot of opportunities to tell an exciting story and to create like these new big features that kind of go along with that and support it.
So as I'm playing through that now, it would be amazing if there was some way to sort of track my accomplishments through the season. I don't know, maybe some sort of journey perhaps
you want to track your seasonal journey through some kind of feature.
I don't know if I could tee that up any higher for you. We went from golf to
T-ball really fast. No, absolutely. So this is obviously with season 1 where we're going to bring out the season journey feature, which I know we've talked a little bit about on stream before, but I guess it's worth maybe calling out and maybe a little more clarity.
Hey, look, it's this, but without redacted all over it now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is
no top secret.
Yeah. So this is the battle pass introducing as part of season 1, and then going into here you'll see the season journey, and again. So the season journey is separated into 7 chapters.
Aspektet fognak adni chapter rewards-ként. Ez olyan, mint a 3-ban. Ugyanúgy van jelölve is kb. 1-től 4-ig easy, aztán jönnek a koponyák.
You don't have to do all of them. You have to do a subset of them in order to advance to the next chapter. So I think it's really cool. So like objective to objective, you're going to be earning favor drops, which can be used to fuel your battle pass, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. But you're also, for your chapter completion moments, you're getting big drops of that favor that's going to be used.
A favor kell ugye a battle passhoz.
But you're also going to be getting some like item rewards, and importantly, you're going to be unlocking new legendary aspects, ones that you can't normally get through the Codex of Power, through like dungeon completion, and also many of our new legendary aspects we're adding in the season. If you're playing in the seasonal realm,
5 aspekt, azt gondolom 5 karakternek aspekt.
So it's a great way for you to introduce yourself to some of these new things as you're kind of playing through.
Yeah, I love this. Like one of the things that's hard about for people who know Diablo 3 and its sort of journey.
Hold on, wait. Do you love this?
I love this.
Oh, that actually feels really good to hear.
I love this. The notion around like I like the fact that the subset aspect of it, because I know there are certain things. I'll pick a stupid example. It's like maybe I hate sellers for some reason. I'm a
Szalát kell csinálnia
so I never want to complete a seller.
Az első
The
oldalon.
fact that I can advance chapter 1 to go to chapter 2
Meg sidequestet kell csinálni, vagy priority questet, az nem tudom micsoda. Ez gondolom a main quest.
I have other games where they're like, you must do this thing that you really don't want to do in order to progress. And the fact that I don't have to do that here, that I can choose a subset of things to continue my progress, I think is really smart.
Yeah.
Tehát itt minden feladat adni fog favort.
One thing we really want to do is make sure that like the base example of this is like we really like letting players use our fields of hatred as opportunities to kind of like progress their characters inside of the season, but we want to include that
Which is
in
the
season journey.
Fehér volt a Prio quest, aha.
But we don't want to make that like a requirement.
Mint a Whispering kéjes.
In order to progress your season journey, we want to give players the option to do this if they choose.
One thing I do want to call out here as well with the season journey, and I think you're going to call it out in some other places, is that it can be confusing to players initially that you go to this Battle Pass screen, you click on the season journey button. Do I have to buy the Battle Pass to get this? No. Everyone has access to the season journey. This is a base feature that everybody is engaging with. Actually, everybody has access to the Battle Pass too. You're engaging with, even if you never pay a cent, you are engaging with the Battle Pass. You're getting free stuff.
In the seasonal realm.
In the seasonal realm. Yes. Ron has to always remind me to say that. In the seasonal realm, this stuff exists. There is no season journey if you're not in the season. That's very important. It only exists there. There's no Battle Pass if you're not in the season.
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So yeah, that's essentially the way
Tehát nincsen Battle Pass, hogyha nem a szezonba vagy. Jól értem?
You can get some like special like cosmetics, like special like title and things at the towards the end of that path. So we're excited to see players like engage with it and for us to continue.
Valószínűleg jól értettem.
And so we saw that the season journey grants you a lot of favor to go towards your battle pass, but you also earn favor just out in the world killing stuff. And
that's right. Anything that's like killing monsters, completing like whispers and dungeons and things like all of these things will be earning you favor as you.
Na, ez legalább megválaszolt egy kérdést sokak számára.
That favor as well.
So if you have never played the campaign yet, like you're about to buy the game for the first time with the season, for example.
Right.
I'll be like, okay,
így van, csak season-nel, tehát season-nel lesz season journey-t, és csak season-nel lesz Battle Pass-od. De a Battle Pass-nak van free rewardja is.
I won't run into any Malignant until I finish the campaign.
That's absolutely right. But you will, as you play, if you make a new character, to your point, Rod, on the seasonal realm, and you're playing through the campaign, you will be earning favor as you're killing monsters and doing things during the campaign.
Hát, hogyha nem csináltad meg még a sztorit, azért, hogyha a seasonben csinálod meg a sztorit, azért is kapsz favort.
Until after you finish the events of the Diablo 4 main campaign.
And that's probably one of the big things to be clear about. I know we're going to talk about the transition later, but in terms of getting access to the mechanic, the idea of talking to Corman, capturing malignant hearts, having rings with colored socket or jewelry with colored sockets, that stuff all takes place post-campaign.
That's correct.
And so if you haven't beat the campaign yet, you're not going to run into these seasonal mechanics.
Yeah, you won't fight malignant creatures, for example, while you're going through the campaign on the seasonal realm, but you will shortly thereafter. So one of the things you can do, and I know we're going to talk about this, and we keep saying we're going to talk about this, and then we talk about it anyway. But like, so I would say, like, one of the things you can do to get ready for the season is to make sure you finish your campaign playthrough. Diablo 4, jump in. You can choose to skip campaign when you make your new seasonal character, and dive right into the seasonal story and content immediately.
And that's forevermore.
Tudsz kampányt skippelni a seasonban. És akkor már elérhetővé válik minden ilyen season cucc.
Moving forward, you can skip campaign and start off in Kyovashad level 1 off. Well, and you know,
not always Kyovashad, but yes.
Is that the only thing that we can be doing to prepare for season 1?
We should get to the battle pass. So the favor. So you have favor flowing because you're playing the game.
You're playing the game because you're doing your season journey objectives. You're getting even more.
I was going to say you're getting more, and the favor is really flowing because I'm completing the season journey objectives, and so that favor is feeding into your progress on the battle pass. Whether you've chosen to just have the free battle pass or whether you've chosen to upgrade it to a premium battle pass, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So can we go back to the screen because I think it's one of the things. What we highlight here.
Eltűnt a hang. Megették a hangot.
Kind of a, you know, we use the term.
Lemerültek a mikrofonok, eddig tartott. Az immortálosok lemerítették.
And by completing the battle pass in terms of the mount armor, the armor that the characters are wearing.
Minden klassz, tehát
did you want to talk a little bit about
minden klassznak való.
So one of the things that's really cool about a lot of the items in the battle pass, there are these really exciting like armors to chase for the characters. There are like fun new emotes to go chase for different classes.
Na tessék, úgy oldották meg, hogy így különféle ruhákat kapnak a karakterek, tehát hogy egy ruha lesz, de sokféleképp fog kinézni. Aha. Wow.
And we have like our bigger stuff like this. Like this is like the Awoken Cold Iron stuff. Is like some of like the real chase armor cosmetics that exists at the end of the battle pass.
It's one of the things that, like, if you notice either the role-playing armor, like the artisan tunic,
spoilerezték a végét, most már nem érdekel.
Is that one of the big things about the battle pass is that unlike the shop, the battle pass, all of the cosmetics are class agnostic. So we have a preview for all 5 classes, so you can see what it looks like on a barbarian, what it looks like on a druid, what it looks like on a necromancer, and those sorts of things. And that's one of the nice things about the battle pass is everything you're earning on the battle pass, class agnostic.
Yeah, for those transmogs.
The exception is the transmog weapons. There are transmog
a
weapons
cél volt a fő cél, komolyan? Nem figyeltem.
This can only use specific,
So if your class can equip that weapon, then you have access to it. Just to reinforce, I think it was already expressed, but there are lots of free things on the battle pass. If you pay to upgrade it to the premium battle pass, what you're gaining access to are a bunch of additional cosmetic things. Yeah. So the only thing you're getting access to by paying is that additional cosmetic unlock. So there's really, really cool stuff, some on the early end and then especially on the tail end of it, that's what you're buying into. But the free version...
keep going. I'm getting ready to transition.
Okay. The free version
I know where I want to go after you.
Still has some very cool unlocks. And anything related to, well, you wanted to talk more about blessings, right?
Well, that's what they're saying with the free side.
Azt mondja, srác, hogy
free tiers in the battle pass.
A freebe is elég király dolgok lesznek.
Smoldering ashes that you
a freebe volt a lópáncél.
That you've progressed with favor. And what do those smoldering ashes get you?
So these smoldering ashes the player will collect in the battle pass are, as you called out, like they're on the free track of the battle pass. You have a character of a certain level in order to be able to actually use them. So they're kind of like, they're rate limited that way. We'll take those and you'll be able to use those and apply them to the seasonal blessings system. Right. And here, okay, we can actually finally reveal all of these. So here are the places where, as the player's collecting these ashes, they can invest them here to give all of their characters on the seasonal realm kind of
ha lehet gyűjteni ilyen smoldering ashes-t, és akkor adhatnak több XP-t a szörnyek,
or things like boosting the duration of all elixirs that you're using.
Több pénzt lehet szerezni vendoros
I don't know
eladásból,
if it's linear or not, but if I would assume it was
rare
linear,
matériát lehet boostolni a salvage-ban.
60% duration on elixirs, in terms of that particular the earner
Tovább
prolonging.
tartanak az
That's right.
elixirek,
Yeah, we want to make this just be an extra little
és
fun little thing for players
több
to
esély
chase
lehet
after going through the season,
erősebb
and,
malignant
help them,
hard dropra.
boost their characters a little bit more quickly as they kind of get deeper and deeper into progression to the season, and give them a few different advantages to play with while they're playing through.
So if I were to max out with my Smoldering Ashes, there like earner prolonging is where I want to invest my Smoldering Ashes. I can basically take my 30-minute elixir and make it almost a 50-minute elixir. So getting that 5% XP boost. Maybe for me, it's the extra 200 thorns and the 200 armor. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, and give you boosts like get more.
Ott vannak alul a százalékok is egyébként.
Drops that can occur for you as you're playing.
And these are available to everyone because
Yes.
who's in the seasonal realm because it's part of the free track.
Yes.
And they are limited based on. They're also limited based on level of the player, so that even if someone were to use tier skips, even though they might get to the tier that says free Smoldering Ashes,
it might require.
It doesn't actually unlock until you get to the level requirement.
Yeah, for like for example, like the first ash that you unlock in the battle pass is I think it's tier 8 maybe.
Tier 8,
Yeah, and it has a level 40 character requirement as an example. Just to make it really clear, like you will be able to use this in time, but immediately like you need to be
Ezt a tier 8-at annyira nem értem,
level up, and then you'll be able to use that.
hogy ez a tier 8, ez most micsoda? Ez azt értem, hogy level 40-es karakter kell, hogy lehessen ilyen smolderinges, de a tier 8 az micsoda? Battle Pass tier 8.
We use that to complete our season's journey. Our season's journey is rewarding us favor. Our favor, we're then putting into the battle pass to get really cool cosmetics and transmogs, but also based on our level and our tier in the battle pass, we'll get Smoldering Ashes. We can use those Smoldering Ashes to apply a season's blessing, which allows us to use those urns and get sort of perks for during just this season that we've unlocked.
That's correct.
So the free person's experience, if you never want to pay a cent, you are still getting a lot of power out of the season journey and the free aspect, the free unlocks on the battle pass. So this is kind of an increase in power for everybody. And then if you want to spend money, just reinforcing that, that's unlocking more cosmetics.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like they're amazing cosmetics. I am planning to pay to unlock them myself, but there's no power that comes from them. They are transmogs. They are not actual items. It's just a transmog you can place on your armor to look cool. They don't actually cost.
Azt mondja, hogy a Battle Pass olyan cuccok vannak, amit a királyok fogsz kinézni.
The battle pass itself, anything that if you do pay for a battle pass, all the paid items are going to be cosmetics, and for you, it's no paid.
Tehát ugye nem itemeket veszel, azt magyarázzák.
You already will have an ability to make that a premium battle pass. It still doesn't. So that's great for them. So then let's talk a little bit about the transitional side of it in terms of how I go into this or what happens. So there's a couple of different things. There's like one is like there's a need. So there's a question. I guess we should talk about renown. Like one of the big things that we hear the most about is, hey, I spent a lot of time, and I know I did too. I completed all my renown objectives. I've got full everything. And now I hear, oh, I have to reroll my character in season. Do I have to go find all the altars of Lilith? Do I have to go all clear the fog of war again?
Yeah, so I know we've talked about this in stream before, but it definitely bears repeating. So like when season 1 goes live, players are going to be able to go basically carry over like all of the fog of war that they've cleared. So everything, all the world they've explored.
Tehát minden, amit felfedeztél, átjön, tehát a felfedezettség az átjön.
All of that's going to carry over, as well as all of the renown you have earned from all of that, all of the exploration.
So can we bring up the screen? So basically,
where we see
renown
is átjön.
Let's say I've actually. Okay, we'll say this is this person.
Yeah.
So right now they've got 30 areas discovered, which is worth 150 renown.
Right.
So what's going to happen is in the season, I'm going to have 30 areas clear inside of Kyrgyzstan, and I will have 150 renown already in the bank. And it will have unlocked whatever 150 renown will have unlocked.
Absolutely right. Yep, absolutely right. So you're going to have that, and you're also going to have already collected all of your altars of Lilith that you've got from your
So the same thing here. So I will have 12 will be appearing on my map immediately, and I will have
megjelennek az általok Lilithek is a térképen.
I'll have 270 renown already earned, waiting for me to claim when I fire up the season.
That's absolutely correct. So these are the advantages you get to start with. And
nice.
If you look at like all of the renown you can collect from discovering all of the areas and from getting all of your altars of Lilith, it's going to get you in each of the zones basically through the first 2 tiers, a little bit of the way through the 3rd tier for each of the zones for renown. So you get to start with, like, if you start at level 1 on day 1 of the new season with a brand new character, you'll start, and you've done all of this work with your previous characters and previous playthroughs. You'll have 5 skill points to play with, and then 5 extra potion charges. So you'll be at sitting at 9 potion charges.
At level 1.
Wow, level 1-en már maxon kezdhetsz, ugye?
Absolutely. Just claim those
Level
things
1-en
down
már
and you're good
9
to go for the
izé.
season.
And your map reveal.
And your map
And your
reveal.
map reveal.
So that goes
Potion
back
now.
to what Tim was teeing up earlier. When we think about,
Ez nagyon király.
hey, I'm excited about the season. I want to prepare for it. I've got, what is it? It's the 6th today?
Today's the 6th.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have 14 days.
14
I have
days.
2 weeks. What should I be doing in these next 2
Ja,
weeks?
és 10 skill pont,
one
igen,
was,
igen.
I better get the campaign
Igen,
done,
igen,
so
igen.
we wanna-
Tök jó, minden
we
jön.
have to fight the malignant, but now, like, if you had places to go to, like, dig deep on clearing the fog and dig deep on finding the altars, because those are going to carry into the season.
Yeah, all that stuff will carry over with you.
Okay, so
Minden
then,
jön,
Tim,
tök jó.
how do I think about, I've got 5, 6 alts, my characters right now in the Eternal Realm. We're talking about carrying over progress based on your, how do I ensure that the progress, like the most progress character, it actually impacts my seasonal character? Like,
Yeah, Tim, tell us.
Yeah, it's a great question. For various technical implementation reasons, we do actually need you to log in on existing characters to kind of self-migrate some of your data with this. So this is something that we implemented based on player feedback that we got. So we put it in as quickly as we could. It is in for Season 1, but what we need you to do, once Season 1 comes out, actually once the patch comes out, you don't even have to wait until July 20th. You can do this on July 18th, which is when the patch
a
goes
Paragon
live.
is átjön,
You should
tehát
log
hogy az is
in
átjön, csak
with
azt nem
characters
kapod meg
that
level
have the most
1-től.
progress. If you have a single
Nem.
character you played, or if you have one character that, hey, on this one character I unlocked all the altars and cleared all the fog of war, awesome. You just have to log in with that person. When you log in with that character, all of that progress is going to be propagated across your entire account. It'll be saved as, hey, this is just unlocked for your whole account now.
Ha jól
At that
értem,
point,
jön
any
majd
character
egy
you log
patch,
on, either one of your existing
ami alatt,
alts
hogyha
or
belépsz
any
a
new
fő
character you make in
karaktereddel,
seasons, will now
amivel
have
egy csomó
all of
mindent
that progress. So you
unlockoltál,
have to do
akkor
it
az
once, but after you've done that, it
mindegyik
is now saved to your
karakteredre
account.
átmegy.
And just to reinforce, the experience you're going to have,
Mert ugye
if
most
you have
változtattak
unlocked all
ezen,
these
hogy
things, it
ugye
takes a little bit of work.
a
If you've unlocked
renoméból
all of that,
minden jön.
when you start that new seasonal character, wow, is that a lot of power. You are going to level pretty fast, because extra 5 skill points, extra 5 potions, you are ridiculously overpowered when you first start playing. Like, that is a lot of extra
It will
power.
accelerate you a little bit as you start.
And because that is a big caveat, like we will be reminding everyone. I'm going to be like literally screaming from the rooftops. I know we will be posting it in our patch notes on would that come out for the patch on the 18th. Just to
gold
remind
jutalom
people
az
that,
karakterjutalom.
log into your characters beforehand. Even if you log in,
Meg az
like, you
XP,
jump into the
a
season
gold és
later
az
on,
XP
you
az
can log into those
karakterjutalom.
characters with the most
Az nem
amount
jön
of
át.
progress
Well,
and so forth.
that's the two things we should, because there'll probably be questions. But one is, I don't do that for whatever. I go on vacation. I'm not playing. I come back. The season started. I can still log in my Eternal Realm character and have all that progress brought to the season. Yes.
Yes.
Even after the season started. So it's not like, oh, you only have 18 to 20 to get it those 2 days.
It's there forever. Functionally, from this point forward, anytime you ever log in on a character, it will just check like, hey, does this character have any progress that's not already credited on your account? Cool, I'm now crediting it to your account.
Right. And so and that's for the seasonal. So if I think about the Eternal Realm, like for example, my Necromancer has everything. I've got the full bar on renown on all 5. Not humble bragging. That's a point of fact.
Humble bragging.
Not humble bragging.
Absolutely.
So for the next 5 minutes, we're going to talk about
So
this.
let's talk about how good my Necromancer is. No, but all I'm saying is I have a Sork that has not had the same level of progress in the world. So after the 18th, when I log in my Necro and
18-án, hogyha belépsz majd a fő karakteredbe, amiben egy csomó mindent felfedeztél, és átlogolsz a másik altodba, akkor minden átjön, ugyanúgy, ahogy majd a seasonbe is át fog jönni, azt mondják.
So let's say that
I know,
you've got 2 different
we should do some
characters.
sort of dev stream where we can talk and go deep.
That's true, actually, yeah. So let's say you've got like 2 characters you play. Like one has done everything in the Fractured Peaks, has uncovered everything in the Fractured Peaks, and has uncovered like all the altars level both. You get another character who's gotten everything in Scott's Glen.
De hát ezt most már kár tovább magyarázni.
Has found all the altars Lilith. If I log in on my Fractured Peaks character, and just by doing that, all of that credit will now be transferred to my Skazglen character. When I log into my Skazglen character, all of that credit will be applied to my Fractured Peace characters. At that point, all of the credit of the progress I made on either of those characters has been propagated to the entirety of my account.
Right. So it becomes an and.
It's not just
Azt mondják, hogy
it's not like the one account that has the most stuff, and then I want to log into that one. No, you want to log into every account that might have like tons of progress if they've made in different directions. Right.
And I think that just again, hey, let's talk about managing expectations. Some of you might be saying like, wow, that sounds a little clunky. And I think the point that Tim was trying to make was, hey, prior to season 1, we had actually talked about that you wouldn't have any renown progress carryover. You would have to go find the altars of Lilith. You would have to go clear the fog of war. Like the original plan when
az aspektekről nem beszéltek, és szerintem az nem jön át. Vagy igen?
No transition of state from Eternal Realm to Seasonal Realm as part of this. And so hearing the player feedback as we talked about seasons, hearing the response that we got about what I have to find the altars again, what I have to find clear the map again, and wanting to make sure that we were listening to the players.
Yeah.
We put in a system that allowed us to do that, but is not the most smoothest, most sophisticated because we were doing it under very tight time constraints as quickly as possible.
Hey, did you want it done?
Yeah.
Did you want it done?
The
answer is yes.
I'm just saying, like that wasn't the design from the start was not to do this.
Right.
Log in a character on the 18th and make it pass.
Yeah,
That's what we had to do to make it happen for season 1.
And this was based off of obviously player feedback that we've gotten since launch. So this is us implementing it quickly to address the feedback that you guys have been giving.
Yep.
And then on top of that, I like a huge shout out to our engineers for getting this all implemented before we actually jump into the season.
Much like that Nightmare Dungeon teleport,
Exactly.
like miracles can happen and very quickly. So
A lot of these actually end up with us going to an engineer and asking how long it would take to do it, and the first answer is to do it right.
First answer is they cry.
Yeah. And then there's like, okay, well, what about to make it work right now? And always, if you told
Ez nem
me
nálam volt ez a hiba.
X months ago, I could have done it.
Ez a
way
YouTube-os
easier.
stream.
We implemented it completely differently. So yeah, we make it work, but sometimes the fact that you have to log in to get the progress propagated. We would have made it a smoother version if we knew months ago.
All right, look, all right, like zoom in on me. Zoom in on me.
Come closer.
Let's do that. Okay, it's not going to happen. There it is. Okay, yeah, all right. It's a live game. We know we need to it's a live game. We know we are looking at trying to make improvements based on the feedback that we're getting from players. We're playing the game ourselves, and we're kind of seeing how everything is really feeling as it's all coming together with a giant audience of players playing and enjoying the game. We want to make sure that we are making the right changes as quickly as we can for the community. Some of those things are a lot harder than others. But like all the feedback, like Adam, you called out some things really early on at the program, like, we're hearing feedback about, this and this, and like, inventory space. We talked about gems last time and things we want to do there. We're trying to move very quickly in a lot of these things. Some of them are a lot more challenging technically to do than others, but we are rapidly moving on as many changes as we can because we are fervently trying to make the very best version of Diablo 4 possible in the fastest time frame that we can to deliver to the player base, because we're players too. We also want the same things. So just know that we're working hard. We care deeply. We love our engineers and our designers and our producers and the staff's been helping with all the hotfix and everything else. We are trying to make sure that we are delivering a really, really high quality experience to players on a regular basis. So just stick with us. Keep giving us that feedback. We're going to keep making adjustments as we go between seasons and other updates.
I can attest that whenever Joe would like to make a change based on feedback he's seen from reading it wherever he reads it, the first version is always, can we do this immediately? That is always the first request. Never like, hey, let's get this in eventually. When it makes sense and when it's comfortable. No, it's always, could we do this right now? Is it possible for us to do this right now?
Well,
I want to move the
version
Overton window where I just expect everything to be done in 6 seconds.
But this is the thing about about doing it safely. Like,
azért nem mondok semmit már most ismét, tehát hogy így azt magyarázzák, hogy csináljunk feedbackeket, tehát hogy mondjuk el, hogy mi a gond, szóljunk, hogy mi nem jó, figyelnek és dolgoznak rajta, nekik is fontos.
When you look at we have a follow the sun QA organization around the world, and that's what allows us to do, I don't know, we're what, to 15, 16 hot fixes or more now.
Yeah.
And our big client patches is that ability to not only can we get we have some heroic engineers who can turn stuff around very quickly, but we also have some heroic QA teams around the world who are helping us make sure that when we make these changes, we're doing it in a safe way. So, but I appreciate your patience on that. And so this is exciting. Season 1, Season of the Malignant.
Yeah. It's finally here.
Yes.
I'm waiting to reveal this for a
in 2
long
weeks?
time.
In 2 weeks, and again, like Tim
It's
had
not
mentioned,
technically here for you all, but soon, soon, very soon.
as Tim had mentioned, we will have a patch on the 18th for Diablo 4 that will contain all the changes that will be coming in with Season 1.
Yep.
If Tiffany Watt were here, who was on our Campfire chat before,
Yep.
she categorized our 103 patch as chonky.
Right.
I will categorize, in Tiffany Watt's words,
The technical
as
term, yeah.
super chonky for Season 1. It actually is our largest, or chonkster, as Tim called it. I think we were chonkers. So we're going to pull up the Wikipedia entry and actually go through it, the history of chonkers. But yeah, it is very big. So we will have notes up for that. And again, players can prepare for Season 1 by completing the campaign for sure.
Do the campaign,
and making
clear the
sure,
fog of war.
clear fog of war, discover the map, and of course, get all your altars. So lots to come for Diablo 4. And then again, we also have just more improvements that will be in that patch. What our balance changes to bug fixes to you name it. I can
Class
go on.
changes
There's
is
even,
jön majd.
some reward changes coming
Csak
for
vicc. Nyelvbotlás volt, de lehet, hogy jön majd.
related activities as well.
Az
some
Immortál
in-game
után.
activities, because I've been hearing some feedback regarding like, hey, it would be great if we can get like maybe better rewards with some of these activities, and so I know some of those changes are coming in that actual update as well. But I know we want to do Q&A.
We do.
Yeah.
And this is a live stream, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know we get sometimes people are like, I don't know if this is live. No, this is totally live.
Szóval azt
we're
javasolják
actually gonna be
egyébként,
bringing in,
hogy a szezon kezdésig csináljátok meg a renomékat, mindet,
I'm actually going to go in and away from the
fedezzétek
slide.
fel ugye a térképet, ami ugye kell hozzá,
Rod's gonna jump over here. We're actually gonna bring
és
back in
akkor
Chris and Ryan from
megfejezzétek
the
be a
Immortal
sztorit
team,
a szezon
who will be jumping
startig.
in
Oh, I think
here.
you're supposed to open that chair. I didn't do my job.
I
didn't do my job.
Rod had one job and failed to do it.
I failed to open the chair.
So we're going to bring these guys in. I know we have questions queued up from different people in Twitch chat. So if you guys have questions, of course, feel free to drop in questions and everything.
Jöhetnek az immortálos kérdések is, srácok.
I need to scooch too,
Scooch a
because I
little
think
bit
I'm
Yeah, I think
like,
we can scooch a little bit more.
Live television.
we're scooching live.
And we're scooching, live scooching, ladies and
So here's
gentlemen.
the problem. We also the
all
production
kinds of
team hates me.
cables beneath us and stuff.
I want to give a shout out to our production group behind here, because I literally go like, oh, we're only gonna have like 2 people, and then we continue to add people, and then Rod wanted to be in it yesterday. So now suddenly we're up to like 20 people, and this room can't hold this many people. So I apologize.
you're
They
not
are
okay.
angels, and they deal with me. But we do have some questions, and I will be kind of going back and
Na,
forth. between both of
kíváncsi
them,
vagyok,
but
milyen
we do-
kérdések
oh,
lesznek.
Oh, perfect. We do have some questions up here. Someone's also calling me, which is awful at this time. Quick question. Any updates around, this is for D4 specifically, any updates around respecting characters?
Yeah, so right now I think that there's a few different concerns we're hearing from the community. There's the general cost of respecting characters, and then there is at various stages of the game, and then there is the actual experience of respecting a character, particularly when you're deeper into the Paragon system. Like that takes a lot of effort. So we have longer-term plans on the user experience side, like on the menu side. Things we want to do to improve the flow of allowing players to respect their characters. These are things we're actively investigating. We have designs for things we're looking to add.
Dolgoznak azon, hogy könnyebb legyen respecálni egy karaktert.
And in terms of the actual price of that, we're evaluating things on like the gold economy, and we're taking a look at like what players are doing on a regular basis. We're not making any fundamental structural changes to today at this time, but we are, because we're satisfied with where things feel like in the 150. One thing we will be adding, though, is as part of seasons, there is now a new reward that you can collect as you're going through the season journey at the end of each season, called the Scroll of Amnesia, which once you collect a Scroll of Amnesia, you can use that one time to basically reset the entirety of a character all in one go for no gold cost at all.
Scroll of Amnesia lesz, ami refoundol mindent.
Future playthroughs, or for that character or another character. So we want to make sure that we're like slowly adding a few of these as the players progressing through the experience. Kind of make that a little bit easier for players to go.
Nincs jó
And that's what
előérzetem
that means,
ezzel
is
kapcsolatban.
everything. It's all your skills,
It's all
all
your
your
skills, all your
Paragon,
Paragons,
everything
yeah.
goes to 0.
Yeah.
Awesome. For Immortal, we have a question from, I'm reading everyone's names, 8 Miles West. How
Főleg
much will
mivel
the
a
Blood Knight cost?
Rivardoknál
I know we covered this
beszéltek
early on,
erről.
but if you guys want to reiterate.
The Blood Knight will cost nothing. The Blood Knight is free.
It's free. So
Köszönjük
if you're a
szépen
new
az
Immortal
immortálos
player,
információt,
or
köszönjük.
you're a existing Immortal player, you can literally jump in, start playing the Blood Knight on day one, which is on July 13th. So, and of course, you can play through the campaign, and we had mentioned that has essentially custom VO.
Remélem 5 kérdésből egy lesz, ami immortálos, mert az pont érdekel minket.
That's usually that's a safe statement all the time. Is you should be more prepared.
We have Rod judging me off screen right here, and I'm just like, awesome.
Perfect. Little side story real quick. So we have a thing in design called design armor, where like as you're about to like talk about an idea with someone, you're like, this might be a really bad idea, but and that's you putting up your shield saying, this is my design armor. Saying, I know that this might be really, really bad, but we're talking about it anyway. So yes, I should probably be more prepared, but here we go. That's your design armor.
Question from Fig Larna.
You committed to saying the names.
I know I did.
We don't want anyone to suggest that these are not real questions.
Yeah, from Fig Larna. Will seasonal mechanics be added to the Eternal Realm after the season ends? I think that's something we didn't actually clarify really well.
That is a great question. That actually
Kérdés, hogy lesz olyan, mint Poénál, hogy a szezon mechanika átmegy az Eternálra.
Initially, no. Like initially, the version of the malignant mechanics that you're seeing are not planned to show up in the Eternal Realm. However, we are reserving the right as developers that if we see something cool and we think, wow, this is just fantastic, this should just be part of the game, that we will just make it part of the game. So it is absolutely an option.
Azt mondják, hogy szezonális mechanika nem megy át az Eternálisra, miután vége a szezonnak, viszont hogyha látnak valami mechanikát, ami nagyon bejön, akkor átdolgozzák és bekerül. De nem terveznek szezonális mechanikát átvinni az Eternálba. Az Eternal ugye az, ami nem a szezon.
For the base game, like stuff that will persist beyond the end of the season. But we really do want to hone in on the idea that we're like, Malignant Hearts are very powerful, as we talked about before. They're really, really cool. They're very exciting. We can't add something exciting like that every season if it's expected to all last, because the game's going to be a complete mess. Right. So we're not going to do that. What we would end up needing to do is all of those things would be extremely incremental in terms of what they offered to the players over the course of time. And it would make the game extraordinarily dense in terms of what the players expected to do on a regular basis.
And to understand.
We know that there's opportunities to extend things like add more endgame features. We know that there's more content that we want to add to the game in general that like everybody's going to need forever, and we're going to be looking at those opportunities as we go. But things like Malignant Hearts, we don't want to have something of that size in Season 1, then add something of similar size in Season 2, and then Season 3 and Season 4, because the game's going to get extremely dense and difficult for players to really navigate. We want to be able to like take these things away, introduce new ideas, but having known what worked really, really well with Malignant Hearts and what stuff we could maybe have improved upon, we get to take all of those ideas forward.
It's also part of the cool factor of the season is that when you're going in, these Malignant Hearts, it's there for the season. So even let's take a player that let's say doesn't
csak ilyen quality of life dolgokról valószínűleg nem fognak beszélni, Ádám, csak hogyha valaki megkérdezi. Mondták, hogy ez is jön majd a patch-el, de ilyen quality of life dolgokról nem beszélnek.
But let's say a barbarian, that's my hypothetical, I'm sticking with it. So I'm a barbarian lover and I've made all these barbarians. Season 1 is still an exciting time to make a new barbarian because we have all of these new malignant powers that allow you to make radically new builds that are completely different from barbarians you played in the past. Your endgame is going to be very different. So that excitement goes away if we just say like, oh, all of these powers just exist in the game forever. The whole idea is that no, every season is a fresh new experience that gives you builds that did not exist previously. So the idea is some of that stuff is always designed to go away. Yeah.
So Joe, I mean, one of the things...
This is Rod off camera speaking.
Rod off camera. Hey, voice
right.
Joe, maybe speak to the fact that everybody starts at the same place of the season as one of the benefits so that people aren't like a year behind when they go to play Season 4.
Yeah, that's an important part of this as well. One of the reasons we really like the idea of letting players start back fresh and have like an economy reset, players really jumping back in the experience at level 1 with characters, is it allows us to focus on making sure the entirety of that journey
is really tudnak ennyit erről beszélni.
And we want to make sure, like by the end of the first session, for example, like you're getting exposed to like the new features and content available that we're introducing in that season. That everything feels like it's balanced in such a way that players can really enjoy the new things that we're adding and the way that they're kind of intelligently mixed with the rest of the features in the game itself. So that we think that experience is part of what makes a Diablo game a Diablo game.
Ja, amúgy én megértem, hogy ezt így ennyire átbeszélik, mert így nem tehát hogy minden oldaláról átbeszélik a dolgokat, meg ha valakinek kérdésenek, akkor nyilván azt is most megválaszolják.
But I wanted you to hit on the point.
De én felfogtam gyorsan.
Yeah. They're not like fundamentally behind.
Yeah, if somebody,
before.
like, I'm gonna mess with the camera people. Can you?
Yeah.
You can't even do it, can you? You can't even get there. All we can do is I can just have my talking stuff. Oh, hey, what's going on? The notion of the thing that we're talking about is that we want, again, the game is a live service. The game's gonna live for years. We want somebody who buys the game a year from now to not feel like they're a year behind when it comes to. So one of the benefits of seasons is, in season 4, on day 1, you and I are both level 1. I bought it that day. You have owned the game for a year. We're in the same place. We can play together and have fun together. And so as opposed to everybody
De azt
from this
mondják,
moment
hogy,
on is now falling behind.
azt mondják, hogy ha egy év múlva veszed meg a Diablo 4-et, akkor ne érezd magad úgy, hogy kimaradsz dolgokból. Ehhez képest, hogyha a season cuccokat nem rakják be az Eternal Realmre, akkor kimaradsz a cuccokból.
No, we want to make sure that it feels like, whenever you, the most important thing for us in seasons, like kind of going off script in a different way now, is that like, when you're playing seasons and you're playing Diablo 4, you're having a great time. And when you've reached all the goals and done the things that you think are really, really important, and you want to go like take a break to go play something else for a little while, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. We do the same thing.
You don't fall behind.
But when a season rolls and there's new things for you to come check out, that's a great time to come back. Particularly if you had a good time playing before, that's exactly when you should come back and check out Diablo 4 fresh.
Okay, I'm out. Sorry.
I'll be honest. When the next WoW expansion comes out, there's a non-zero chance that I'm going to play WoW for a while. But it's great to know there's a point that I can come back to Diablo 4 and everybody's on an even footing. Yeah.
Question here from Jeffrey Allen, and didn't specify the C4TX. I'm actually going to ask both because I think this is relevant to both. Also,
why do you have a new mic?
I actually don't know. But yeah. 2 mics, guys. I'm very.
Még egy harmadik, mint hogyha valami sajtós lenne.
Can you say which cosmetics will be transferring between characters? So for instance, like for Diablo Immortal, we'll ask this specifically for Diablo Immortal, and then we'll talk about Diablo 4. But in regards to transferring cosmetics, like if you ended up buying a cosmetic in Diablo Immortal, does that actually also appear in the Blood Knight?
Kérdés. Most nyugodtan kimehettek szünetre.
Prior to the Blood Knight's release, will not.
Hozzátok nasít meg ilyenek.
However, sorry, what was the Mother's Lament set?
Hatred's Heritage.
Hatred's Heritage will be available for the Blood Knight.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So going forward, there will be now new cosmetics available for the Blood Knight, just as they are for all the other classes in Immortal. And then I guess for D4, will cosmetics be transferring to seasons, and will they need to be reobtained?
Igen, ezen gondolkodtam én is, hogy szerintem az Immortalról nem nagyon jött kérdés. Tehát, hogy ilyen jött 1 millió kérdés a 4-hez, és jött 100 kérdés az Immortalhoz, úgyhogy gyorsan kiválasztottak egyet.
And obviously every cosmetic set that you're purchasing via the store and via the Battle Pass, that stuff also is going to be carrying over with you.
Yes, if you ever unlock anything, your whole account has access to it forever, is the current functionality.
Azt mondják, hogy ha ellokkolsz a Seasonbe transmogot, akkor az elérhető lesz az Eternal Realmen is. Az így account-wide a transmog, amit ellokkolsz.
Nightmare teleport was great, but why can't we just teleport right into dungeons rather than just to the entrance? So this one I think is interesting because Nightmare, we obviously incorporated the teleport here in 103. It was another thing that we had talked about where it was community feedback that we had gotten, and
az a Nightmare Dungeon teleportálás az jó ötlet volt.
In a specific way. We have been seeing a lot of feedback in regards to players having to teleport outside of dungeons and kind of go through like a couple load screens. It was a quick, implementation from the team and everything. So I know it's something that we've been hearing from our side, and it's something that we're going to be looking at more here in the future for optimizing and making sure that we can implement and maybe in a better way from some of the features that we've been just kind of adding in really quickly. On Immortal, we have. Was there some sort of Castlevania inspiration with the Blood Knight? Looking very, very similar to some popular characters from that franchise. Very pretty vampire-ish people, but not vampires.
I think we discovered Adam's kink, by the way.
We can turn off Rod's mic now, so that's all we need to do. But yeah, was there any inspiration kind of thrown with the Blood Knight?
I think when you're working with a tropic idea in fantasy, like vampires. You know, you take inspiration from all over. The spear thing puts us in mind of Vlad the Impaler. The aesthetic, you've already talked about some potential references, but I think for us is as much like what we take out as what we leave in. We don't want the Blood Knight to feel like a grab bag of all vampiric myths. They are very specifically grotesque, blood, shadow, knightly weapons oriented, and so there were things like turning into mist, like turning into wolves,
Félre ne értsetek, érdekel a Diablo Immortal, de nem ezért ülök így este itt, hogy most az Immortalról hallgassak a bejelentéseket.
Like a very dialed in identity for the class.
Awesome.
Everybody knows that it's necromancers that turn into mist.
Let's see. In regards to Diablo 4,
Na
we
végre.
have. Will you guys be nerfing or buffing in the middle of seasons, or will you be making changes after the season starts?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So
Lesznek-e nerfek szezon közben, vagy csak a végén fognak buffolni meg
That's a
nerfelni?
good question. So we made a number of adjustments during the preseason period to make sure that we're bringing some builds back into where we expect them to be functionally.
Hát persze, hogy lesznek közben is buffok meg nerfek, mert hogy így nyilván menet közben derülnek ki eltört dolgok. Ez olyan hülyeség ez a kérdés. Most, tehát, hogy egy kérdést erre lőttek el.
Where we have like a better schedule, like in cadence when we're talking about these things. We really want to try to reserve like big nerfs and big buffs for only like extreme outlier cases, and things were like really damaging the end game experience for a number of players. So we want to try to keep that more constrained, and we also want to have just fewer general like off cycle balance updates and things. So we're kind of keeping things more into this weekly cadence, like we talked about.
Yeah, things will be pretty stable throughout the course of the season, unless, if one of the malignant powers, I know I've joked about them being broken, but if the zone lights on fire when you use a malignant power, we're going to patch that. But otherwise, we're going to try and keep things stable.
I know we're running close on time because we were planning on this stream to be 90 minutes, and we're 1 minute away. So I'm going to lightning off a few questions.
90 percesre tervezték a streamet, úgyhogy... Na, stash space.
I'll say real quickly though, like
Igen.
we definitely hear everybody about this. We are talking a lot about what we need to do with this. We've got good plans of things we can do to improve the situation. I know it's frustrating to hear me say like, what you were able to do this, like you could be able to do like nightmare dungeons this quickly, but like the reality is like we are moving really quickly on this, and we're gonna be trying to provide more space in the future. We're figuring out how like we're gonna get that accomplished.
Yeah, and also one thing to note is I know we talked about during campfire chats about how gems and so forth were going to be part of the materials
a stash-ről, srácok.
So I know when that hits, like that will obviously free up a lot of stash
there's
space
lots
for
of different ways to kind of like
that.
slice away at this problem. And that's like an example of what we're trying to do to start trying to mitigate this a bit.
And then,
Tehát a Leszár plusz Stash Tab-re a válasz az, hogy nagyon hallottuk, srácok, hogy ez frusztráló, meg ilyenek, dolgozunk rajta. Ennyi.
Seasons lasting 3 months.
It's a minimum of 12 weeks. Sometimes it might be a little longer, but you'll always have at least 12 weeks to complete your season.
Correct. Yeah. So you guys will hear
the calendar dates, right? But
so you guys will hear like no matter what within or like once we hit that 3-month period, you'll start to hear news about the next season actually hitting and everything like that. And then this one, I guess for Rod, are there any plans on new classes coming to Diablo 4? We've just heard about the Blood Knight, so they're
we have nothing to announce at this time.
Rod sitting off camera can answer that perfectly. So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it here for today. Obviously, we talked a lot about all the stuff with Diablo Immortal for the Blood Knight coming out on July 13th. We also have for Diablo 4 Season 1, Season of the Malignant, which is going to be, the patch will be on July 18th, and then the actual season starts on July 20th. We do actually have 2 blogs, one on DiabloImmortal.com and one on Diablo4.com. They'll be going live either right now or immediately after this live stream. That'll have all the details and information that we just talked about here on the stream. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up here for Diablo.
Patch this afternoon.
Oh yes, and there's a patch this afternoon. You'll be seeing. Oh, I forgot. That's why I have to do it immediately after the stream. I was trying to get out of it, guys. But We will have a patch.
Hamarosan
patch notes
patch.
up on Diablo4.com. We have a patch article that will actually note, and we'll be updating people when that patch does hit. It is a client patch. It will require a download. It will be on all platforms. And yeah, lots of Diablo stuff coming up here in the next few weeks. Really excited. Happy Diablo family.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff coming up. I know we will be rating 2 Diablo content creators immediately after this stream. One on Twitch, which is Barricade, and the other one on YouTube, which is Killswitch. So make sure to tune into those guys. And thank you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to the Diablo Developer Update live stream. And from everyone here on the Diablo team, we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Jó hétvégét, azt mondták. Tessék.
That are other dark classes.
Nem lehet visszatekerni az elejére? Ez micsoda? Eltűnt az eleje, srácok. Shit. Ez hogy történt? Eltűnt az eleje. Jaj. Na, mit mondtak, srácok? Hogy tetszett a bejelentés? Én örülök, hogy meg lehetett tudni plusz információkat egyébként. Hát közben itt azt nézem, hogy nem lehet visszanézni az elejét, de fura. Lesz ebből 5 percesre vágott Diablo volt? Hát, persze. Na. Na végre. Na, most már jó. Jaj. Hát sajnálom amúgy, hogy nem nagyon beszéltek Quality of Life dolgokról, hiszen amúgy kb. Az is meg volt említve ott a kis bejelentőben, hogy Season 1-ről beszélnek meg Quality of Life dolgokról, Stash tabről, arról nem is, azt nem is mondtam nektek így az elején, de nem is beszéltek róla. Hát én örülök egyébként, hogy több információt meg lehetett tudni az első szezonról, tényleg, hogy most így lesznek ezek a gemek, amik miatt, ha jól értem, nem tudom pontosan, hogy mi lesz a különbség a különféle színű gemek között, ugye 3 gem típus lesz, és talán a harmadik, vagy lesz még egy negyedik is, ami mindegyik slotba belerakható, amiatt, tehát hogy mennyivel lesz most nehezebb az item farmolás, hát kíváncsi vagyok. De amúgy ez így nem sok minden. Nem sok minden. Tehát, hogy ez most így bejött a Journey, ugye? Bejött a Battle Pass, és ez az új mechanika. Ennyi. Ugye? Srácok, jól összefoglaltam, hogy kb. Ennyi jön? Amúgy a Journey az így kell, egy plusz cél. Nekem az fura, hogy az új mechanika nem megy át az Eternal Realmre, pedig hát szerintem tök jó így a poéba, hogy ezek így bent vannak. Ja, legalább tudjuk a dátumot, hogy június 20-án jön. Június 20-án jön az új szezon. A renomé az ugyanaz lesz, mint az Eternal Realm, szóval, hogy így olyan, mint hogy az Eternalon kezdenék egy új karaktert, az így tök jó. És hogyha végignyomtad a sztorit, akkor ugye rögtön hozzáférhetsz az új mechanikához, tudod a malignant enemiket ütni. Valószínűleg ezek már készen voltak, majd a Season 2-ben jönnek a jobb változtatások. Ja. Defensive, offensive és utility. Ja, valószínűleg olyanok lesznek a gemek. Ja, story update. Én arra leszek kíváncsi, arra a 18-ai patchre, hogy meg amit hamarosan behoznak patchre. Tehát mit hoznak be a kövi patch-el, illetve mit hoznak be a 18-ai patch-el. Ja, nem beszéltek a World Tier-ről. Ja, én annak nagyon örülök, hogy ennyi minden átmegy a szezonba. Attól féltem, hogy így egy csomó mindent így újra kell grindolni. Szóval a Season 1-ben is Nightmare Dungeon farm lesz. Hát igen, meg ugye azokat fogjuk csinálni, amik így a Journey-be lesznek a végén. Ami valószínűleg Nightmare Dungeon. Csak mondjátok, hogy nem kell újra végigszenvedni a sztorit. Nem kell, nem kell. Tunnelöket farmolsz, hogy legyen olyan malignant heartod, amit beletelsz majd a speckó itemedbe. 32 malignant power lesz. Azt nem tudom, Daci, hogy ezt most úgy fogják megcsinálni, hogy ha lesz egy kék itemed, mármint hogy így kék szoketes itemed, akkor az szívás lesz, hogy nem piros. Azt nem tudom. Vagy hogyha kiesik egy jó item, és piros szokettel kellene, hogy kiessen, akkor neked szívás lesz, hogyha kék esik ki? Mert akkor ez plusz egy szint a grindba. Akkor ez plusz egy szint a grindba. Ja, hát az... Az a helyzet, hogy már most is olyan nehéz válogatni, már most is amúgy olyan nehéz válogatni az itemek közül, hát most még aztán így, hogy még arra is kell majd figyelni, hogy a 3 szín közül melyik lesz. Infested Socket lesz, aha. 4 különféle típusú hát lesz, 3 szín van. Lesz egy olyan, ami mindenben jó, aha. Ja, de hát, aha. Ja, akkor a 4. az mindenben jó lesz. Hát majd kiderül, srácok. Most majd lehet olvasgatni a theory craftingot, meg ezeket a bejelentéseket, a bejelentés utáni patch notes-okat, meg ilyeneket. Igen, ez úgy fog működni, mint a gemek, meg az aspektek, hogy így beleteszed a Malignant Heartot az itembe, a socketbe, és hogyha kiveszed, akkor elpusztul. Vagy hogyha cseréled, igen. Én nem tudom, amúgy level 70 óta figyelem, hogy mik kellenének a buildemhez, most vagyok 82, és egy item van meg és egy item van meg a nem tudom hányból. Hát ja, nagyon nehéz az item válogatás. Nagyon kéne a loot filter. Szerintem nagyon kéne loot filter, amit mondtam nektek. Így az elején. Vagy nem mondtam loot filtert? Nem mondtam, de az is kéne. Olyan nehéz item, tehát az item válogatás baromi nehéz. 11-ből, aha. Hát... Nem mondom azt amúgy, hogy ez a mai bejelentés wow volt. Örülök neki, mert tudjuk a dátumot, nyomhatjuk a Journey-t, én azokat amúgy szerettem maxolni a 3-ba. És hát város lesz. Tehát, hogy amint megjelenik az új szezon, pereg. Te kicsit csalódott vagy? Lehetnék én is, de én pozitívan állok a dologhoz. Pozitívan állok ez a dologhoz. Nagyon kíváncsi vagyok, hogy a Journey az így mennyire fog lekötni, és hogy a Battle Pass-t azt így mennyire gyorsan lehet majd kimaxolni. Nem beszéltek set itemekről sem. Nem, tehát hogy arról beszéltek, hogy jön új sztori, ez a korrupciós dolog, hogy mi az, tehát hogy átkerülnek ugye a renomés cuccok a szezonba. Nem sok mindenről beszéltek. Ja, Ja, hát mondom, pont ezt mondom, hogy a wow érzés az nem volt meg ennél, de örülök, hogy így 2 hét múlva a pereket jobban majd a 4 újra. Ennek örülök. Ha mindent betennének az első szezonban, mi maradna későbbre? Ezt nem is olvastam. Necro lesz a következő szezonban is, aha. Bizony. Necro lesz a következőben. Azért tényleg 5 hét telt el, S2-re többet várok, de azért tök jó, hogy a patch-ek, javítások tényleg jönnek folyamatosan. Ja. Azt mondták, nem lehet átvinni a season itemet, ugye? Átvinni? Ezt hogy érted, Blade? Hát, hogyha a szezonba kiütsz egy ilyen Malignant Heartot, az ott marad a szezonba. Azt nem viszed át az Eternal Realmre. És van már terület, hogy akarod buildeni? Hát az eddigi tapasztalatok alapján, hát nem tudom, így hogyha majd jön valami patch notes, a 18-ai patch notes az így szerintem, az majd így sok mindent fog körvonalazni, hogy így mit akarok majd. Egyelőre úgy néz ki, hogy maradunk ennél a Bone Spear-nél, ez elég OP, és hát a fejlődést azt még nem tudom, hogy fogom megoldani, szerintem tehát ugyanaz, ami eddig volt, Summoner, Focus, és közben gyűjtjük a Bone Spear-re a geart. De mondom, a 18-ai patch fogja majd ezt így jobban körvonalazni. Abban így úgyis benne lesz, hogy mi az, amit változtatnak, mi az, amit buffolnak, nerfelnek. Jó van ez így, azt mondod, Daci? Hát... ez ilyen. Na, hát srácok, megyek én is, búcsúzok én is. Köszi szépen, hogy itt voltatok. Jól kibeszéltük itt ezeket a dolgokat. Várom már, hogy elkezdődjön az első szezon. Addig is megmondták amúgy a devek, tessék végignyomni a kampányt, és tessék megcsinálni a renomét, hogy az új szezonba el tudjátok kezdeni a szezonos dolgokat. Na, egyébként nem mondtam, de mondom most.
A new subscriber arrives. It fills you with determination.
Köszi szépen Iri haverja, köszi szépen Ko Ao, és köszi szépen Gege a támogatást. Köszi.
You have returned.
Van amúgy egy ilyen, hogy D4 Armory. Azt hiszem, ott lehet megnézni, hogy milyen statjaid vannak. Nem? Armory? Igen.
You have returned.
Itt tudjátok megnézni, hogy mennyit játszottatok. Ha meg konzolon játszottatok, ott meg írja így összefoglalóként. Akinek már kész, hát az nyomvat új karaktert kek.
Our modest fellowship expands. Praise the sub.
Köszi szépen Legacy Plays a 2 ajándékot, és ezzel egyébként búcsúzom is. Legyen szép estétek, holnap találkozunk.
Our modest fellowship expands.
Sziasztok!
Praise the sub.
Csé.